Sunwing.ca. If Bell 5 TV is now streaming, is it still TV? Is it still TV if there's no TV box? If I can stream all my favorite channels and pause and record shows, that's TV, right?
A new era of 5 TV. It's streaming, but it's still TV.
Well, glad that's settled.
Bell. Connection is everything.
You're listening to More in the Morning on News Talk 1010, Toronto.
What a pleasure to say good morning and determine in a conversation before we went on the air that this is the only kid in the hall I haven't met or interviewed. Bruce McCulloch is here, and it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm evasive.
Yes.
You know, if you weren't in the Cameron at 2 a.m. getting last call, then you wouldn't have met me.
But there is an aspect, always has been, to you and to the characters you play of kind of mystery, maybe, elusiveness.
Perhaps. Like, I always play weird little men. And my daughter said, a lot of your characters are a little bit gay. Dad, are you a little bit gay? And I said, well, aren't we all?
Dark Purple Slice is the name of the show you're doing?
Correct.
Okay. What form does it take? Because, are you doing characters or is it strictly monologue?
It's me. It's my worldview. It's kind of stand-up. It's very it's theatrical. I do some music. I have a new record out that accompanies this. But it's, I just love the one-person show and telling stories and bringing people along and talking about my worldview and communing with the audience.
And the origin of the title?
It was based on a review that wasn't so positive, where I was called the dark purple slice of the kids in the hall, and I ran with that, meaning that I am the one who is sort of dark in a sense, and I play. Obviously, I did characters like Cancer Boy and things like that. So I'm not afraid to embrace the darkness, but of course, it's about the beauty in the darkness and how gallows humor gets us through the very tough times in life.
But for a reviewer, that's an odd phrase, isn't it? But like, what does it really mean?
Well, it kind of makes sense when I say to the audience, I'm the dark purple slice, but you already know that. They laugh because we don't know what it means, but we sort of know what it means in a sense.
I want to talk about Kids in the Hall, and you guys were on from 1989 to 1995. I was just looking this morning, because I don't know if you've seen the headline yet, but SCTV is coming to Prime Video. And so I looked it up, and I was actually somewhat surprised at how long ago that was. But it came on in 1976, ended in 1983. So this is a long way of asking you, did they kind of pave the way and say, okay, people from Canada can do great TV in Canada, and so along, here's the next generation?
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't know how it worked in the industry, but I think that the audience was ripe for us at the time. I mean, they are our big brothers and sisters in a sense, and we looked up to them and got to meet them and all that stuff. So yes, I think they really did pave the way for us.
Can I get you to tell once again, you probably told it a million times, but the origin tale for the Kids in the Hall? Because you and Mark met out west, right?
Yes, at Loose Moose Theatre. I remember I was doing journalism. I was actually doing business where I got 20% marks the first year, even though they want to give me a doctorate this year. And I went into Loose Moose Theatre, and it was like I was coming out of the closet. It was like, this is my place.
Well, Loose Moose is like the granddaddy of improv in Canada.
Yeah, and
theater sports.
They just throw people up there, and you can get laughs. And I found my place. And in that, I found Mark McKinney. And he is my comedy brother. And we just loved working together. And we were like two weird little brothers fighting each other. And we wrote material, and we eventually decided, or I decided, Mark, we're moving to Toronto. He said, well, maybe Vancouver. I said, nope, Toronto this summer.
Okay, so you're the Lennon and McCartney of the Kids in the Hall.
Kind of.
Where do the other guys come from?
There's three other Ringos.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, Dave and Kevin were very wonderful friends, and they were very kind men, and we were kind of animals, Mark and I. And then Scott came in, and he was the entertainer, and he added the sort of the queer element. He doesn't like the word queer, the gay element to our show, and rose all our game up to perform very as hard as we could. And so that it coalesced once Scott came into the troupe.
We live in an era now where an expression I use once in a while is gay is the new boring. Nobody cares anymore. But how out of the margins was it to have a member of your troupe play gay characters?
Oh, it was wild. And, and I remember just sort of, we were in the middle of kind of the AIDS epidemic. And I remember like we'd kiss each other on stage and we'd spit on each other on stage. And it was really like, and even now as it reverberates, as I meet people at my shows or whatever, and it's like the impact that had on young queer minds or just outsider minds, was enormous. And not just the material we had, but also the leaning that, you can wear pearls. You can, we cross-dressed. We were very gay positive.
When you started doing the television show, how much control did you have over your own product, or did you butt heads with the network?
No, not really. I mean, that was a time when CBC was very, very liberal, and so we would say, "Oh my God, they're taking our material away," but not really. That was sort of a negotiation. We got almost everything we wanted on the air. They wouldn't let us get Cancer Boy on, which was a character.
But you put that in the movie, didn't you?
Yeah, but they wanted us to have Dying Kid. Character instead, which is like, you can have cancer and still live, but if you're a dying kid, you're probably going to die. So they had some wiggly, weird lines of things that they didn't really like.
You mentioned the characters that you played on Kids in the Hall, and I'm curious about your sensibility. Like, if there is a through line to the characters you play, aside from, what did you say, short...
Weird little men.
Weird little men. I mean, I think it's Gavin is the one who just starts talking to people.
Yeah.
I think says the famous line in Europe, you can only have one spoon.
Yeah. Well, I think the through line to all my characters, and I feel it's in the show as well, is like people trying to make their way in the world. Weird little people who are sort of out of sorts with it and are trying to make sense of the world, which is what I've been doing every day of my life since I sort of had a sensibility. And I think there's, people didn't see this, and this is the other side of the dark purple slice, which is I am a raging humanist. I tell a little thing in my show, which is like, I once saw a woman with red glasses get splashed by a bus, and she said to no one in particular, "But it's my birthday." And it's like that kind of thing reverberates in me so hard, and it's almost too much, the little struggles of people around me. So I think that's what is at the heart of all my characters.
There was also one character, I remember, I don't know if he had a name, but it was a guy who was an extraordinarily boring office droid. But at night he danced.
Yes, and that was, I've had some terrible day jobs, although Canada Dry wasn't bad. And it's like, it's the rage of, F the bank. Like I'm here, but I'm more than this. You're more than a talk radio host. You're like, we have our other lives that sometimes we can't get out. And I think that's what that expression was.
So tell us more about this particular show, and what are the themes? Or I don't want to overthink it, but what are you bringing to the stage?
Well, it's hilarious. First of all, like it's stand-up theater, and there's music. I have a record that's coming out in a couple months of the same title, but it's like it's an exploration of who we are and why we kind of need each other. I think when I was younger, I'd do shows about myself, like The Beautiful Day You Beat Up Your Dad, which is a rite of passage in Calgary and probably everywhere else who's listening. But now I more care about the world than I do about myself. So, I did the show in Portland recently, and they said, "Oh my God, we need that show right now." So there's a kindness to the show, and a theatricality to it. So it's hilarious, but it's also, we need each other.
You were friends with Gord Downie.
I was very, and I directed starting when I did their My Music at Work video, and we became great friends. And so I tell a brief little story about some of the emails that we shared with each other when he was in sort of the dark times. And I use this as an expression or an example of the dark purple slice is using gallows humor to get through the tough times in life. And so there's a very kind of poetic and sort of, I would say, beautiful little couple moments in the show that indicate that. Do
you remain in touch with the other members of the Kids in the Hall?
Oh my God, all the time.
Yeah.
Every Friday I say, "Kevin, what city are you in? What workshop are you doing?" We just did a brain candy reading. It's 30 years in San Francisco 2 weeks ago. And so, we are, feverish to see each other. It's complicated. And until we do a bunch of stuff together, I'm out on the road bringing it to the people.
It was your launch pad, obviously, but I mean, is it tedious for, to do an interview like this and have me ask you all these questions about the Kids in the Hall? Is that like some sort of lodestone?
No, it was when I was like, at some point when I was trying to define who I was when I was like 38 or 40 or something. But now I think it's beautiful. Like, I know that the Daves I know will be hummed at my funeral. And I wrote it many, many years ago. But no, when I meet people, and this is one of the reasons I love to tour around and meet people, it's like the reverberation of getting to know us and feeling like I'm still okay and I'm out there. And the kids in the hall were and are important to some people. I used to be afraid of that, but now I embrace it because it's like, as I say in the show, outsiders, there sure are a lot of us, and that's them and me.
How can people listening right now find out where there's a show near them?
They go on the interweb.
Yes.
And there's, I'm doing 27 shows in Canada, so I'm probably coming somewhere near you, and you can see me on my website or whatever, or Kids in the Hall websites. You know how to do that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much for having me.
Bruce McCulloch, formerly with the Kids in the Hall, now doing a solo show, and as mentioned, probably somewhere near you. It's 9:30. Let's get to News Talk 1010 Time Saver Traffic.
Collision cleanup continues to cause delays on the southbound side of the 404 just south of Finch. Left through lane is impacted. It's been here for a while, and it's been creating quite a slowdown on approach. Then we have this situation on the westbound 401